Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be creating a QR code generator. So for example, a user can put a URL and it's going to generate a QR code that's going to send users to that particular URL embedded into the QR code whenever you scan on your phone. So for example, this is the link that I'm using. If I change this URL, the QR code is going to change based on whatever you put in this URL. We can also change the color of the QR code. Okay, I can put it to red. I can change also this color here. Okay, I'll put it back to white. And we can also pick this color. Okay, we can also upload an image. Whatever image you want to put here, it's going to put the image centered to the QR code. I'll put back the logo like that. Okay, and we can download it as a PNG. And download, I can open that PNG. As you can see, that QR code downloaded. You can change the color, download, and when you view, it's going to be that color that you've put. Okay, and we can remove the logo if you want to, and we can download an SVG as well, and we can view the SVG. We can also do an email, so we can send an email here. We can put an email, and then we can put subject. Okay, let me refresh this to use new data. So email and subject test. Okay, and we can enter a text here. This is just a text. Okay, and I'll put this to, I'll just generate. As you can see now, the QR code has been generated. So we can scan this QR code and it's actually going to compose an email to this email address that you've put here. Okay, depending on your phone, what is the default provider you're using. So if you're using Gmail, it will create a Gmail email with this subject and the email and the message that you are trying to send. Okay, so yeah, this is the overview of this project. Before we get into the video, I will show you the video that I'm working on. So I'm working on a full stack development course. So this is one of the projects that I'm working on. So we can create some snippets. We can fetch the snippets based on the tags that you can click on. And we can also navigate to other pages like favorites. You can see that the snippets that you've liked. We can copy the data, or you can go to your snippets that you've created. You can delete, you can edit. We can also create new snippets. Okay, we also have the homepage, which is going to show, like if a user creates a snippet, it's going to show on this homepage if it's public or if it's private. If it's private, it will show on your snippets. If it's public, it will show on this feed. Okay, and we can click on the user. We have created this particular snippet. We can click on the user and you're going to see the user information of that user. And you can see how many likes the user has on a particular snippet. We can also click on that particular snippet by clicking this header, click, and it will view that particular snippet on its own page. You can share this link and a user can view this snippet directly. Okay, and if I go back to the home page, we have the popular. So on the popular page, it will show the snippets that are popular. So there's a grading to display these snippets that are popular depending on the likes, etc. Okay, and we are also going to have the top creators. It's going to be like a leaderboard to see which users has created snippets and also which users has most likes. And this score is going to be based on how many snippets a user has created and also how many likes the user have. And then we're going to have this kind of a scoring system. Okay, and settings, we can modify the user information. We can put a bio. You can change the password. You can put like a GitHub link, change the image. Okay, and yeah, that's what we have. Like if I go back, we have the terms. So for the page, we can check the terms and conditions, and also privacy policy, and we have the help section. You can check how to use the app. Okay, if I go to the home page, we can also search. So for example, if I search JavaScript, it's going to return anything to do with JavaScript. I can clear this input. Okay. I can click on the tags as well. It's going to return snippets with that particular tag that we click on. All right. If I click maybe TypeScript or Rust, there's only one snippet that has Rust. We can use these tags at the top as well to filter and return snippets matching that particular tag. Okay, so everything is working and stuff. Okay, perfect. That's the main project for the Fullstack course. So subscribe to my mailing list. I'll let you know when the video is coming out on my website. So it's free. Just put your email here, and then I'll send you an email when it's ready. Just subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment description, and I'll see you in the video. Okay, so let's create a new project. We're going to use npx create next app, and we're going to use the latest version, and then we're going to name this QR code gen or generator, like that, and then let's press enter. I think there must be wrong with some spelling. Okay, and we're going to use TypeScript, yes, and tailwind CSS, yes, no source directory, yes, and yes. Okay, it should create the project and it should be done. I'm going to open the folder in which we have created our project. So it's the QR code generator, select folder, and we're going to run this. So open up the terminal. We're going to run npm, run dev. Okay, and I'm going to close this welcome page. So now we need to check the website. Localhost, it should be on localhost 3003 because there are so many things running. Yours might be on localhost 3000. So this is one of the projects that I'm working on for the Fullstack development course. So yeah, this is a sneak peek. I'm working on the project. There's nothing done yet. It's not really fully functional at the moment, but you will see once it's finished. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of everything in here. So in the app, I will go to the page. I will collapse this div and I will create a new div without any styling. Get rid of this. Okay, go in the globals. We don't need anything in here. I'll just get rid of everything. Okay, get rid of everything. So we should have a blank page now. Okay, so let's start with, let's start with the main page. So in here, let's start by creating the main layout. And also we need an image. I'm just going to put an image in the public folder. I've created this image from Figma. So I will create a folder here named public. So this is just a background image that I've created in Figma. So you can get this from the final repo there's a link down in the description. So you can go and download this image if you want to use the same image. Okay, so I will close down this image. In here, I'm going to give this class name and it's going to have a position of relative. Okay, and we're going to give it a min height. So min height, we're going to set that to 100 VH. That's the min height. And we're going to display flex this because I want to center whatever is coming inside this div element. Okay, so justify center, items center, like that. And I'm also going to set the height to 100%. So height full. Okay, like that. Perfect. So we are not going to see anything yet because we have not added anything. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to add the image. My keyboard is broken. Okay, so in here, I'm just going to add an image. Sometimes my keyboard just freezes. So it was frozen for a bit. Okay, so image. Here we're going to render the glass. I believe glass.png. That's the name of the image. And get rid of this. So we're going to give it a width and a height. Width, not while, but width. We're going to give it 1600. And also we're going to do the same for the height. And alt tag, we're going to say glass image. So here to do the same for the width. I'll just leave it to 1.2. And we're going to give it a class name. it's going to have a position of fixed, okay? And I want top 0 and left 0, okay? And I'm going to give it a width of 100%. Oh my days. Width 100%, and then height, we're going to give it 100%. And I'm just going to set object to cover. And then let's save. Okay, there it is. So there's our nice background. We've set the z index to 0. Okay, so nice. We can put pointer events to none, so it's undraggable, so you're not going to be able to drag that image. That's perfect. Now we have the layout, so we need to create a component for the main content. So let's see what the live project looks like. I think it's on 3001. Oh, that's not it. So this is the fully functional project snippet master. Okay, it's really fully functional. We can go to creator dashboard to see who created many snippets. We can view that user who created snippets. Okay, you're going to see this project soon. So go to my website and subscribe for the mailing list. So if you go to my website and you go to newsletter, just put your email. Once the project is out, you will get a notification telling you the project is out. Okay, let's continue doing the project now. I think it's on 3002. Okay, yeah, that's it. So here we have the main content, this content here. It's centered. We've done this, the flex already. So we need to create this component. So for that component, we can just create one component in here. We don't need to create like a folder. I'm just going to name this QR code generator, like that, .tsx. It's going to be a functional component like that. And then we're just going to render this component. It's going to be centered generator like that. And it's going to be centered. There's nothing here yet. We should be able to see some text on the center of the screen, but there's nothing. Let's inspect. Div QR code generator. Okay, it's there, but it's not showing because we need to give it a z index. Let's do class name. Let's set to relative, and let's just do z10, something like that. So it's going to be at the top. Okay, so there is our component. QR code generator is there, but now let's work around doing this whole body. So we are going to give it M6, that's margin. Okay, that's margin. Let's do X. Okay, X, and then we're going to give it a display flex, and we're going to give it max width. Max width, we're going to set that to 1250 pixels, and then we want to set the width to 100%, and min height, we're going to set that to something like 700 pixels. Okay, it's actually min height, not max. Min height, like that. So that's 700 pixels for the minimum height of the component. And I'm going to set the height to 100%, height full. And I'm going to set this, we don't need to set this index, we've done that already. So as you can see, there it is. We don't see anything yet, but because we haven't given it a background, which we need to do. Okay, but we're not going to give the background to this parent. We're going to give the background to the child. We're going to use ShadCN. For now, I just create a div for this component and then give it a class name. I'm going to say flex. I'm going to set flex to 1, flex column, and I'm going to set the width to full and height to auto and mx. Actually, it's height, auto, mx, auto, mx, auto, like that. And then for the background color, I'm going to set BG. I'm going to set hash, something like ECF. And then I'm going to do 7FF, like that. Okay. And I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 80%. Okay. So there is that background color, and there's an opacity there of 80%. Okay. And what we need to do is give it also a background, some kind of a blur. So it's a backdrop blur. I'm going to set that to MD, backdrop blur MD. And then I'm going to give it a shadow, like a small shadow SM. And then I'm going to set the border to 2. And then the border, I'm just going to give it a color of white, border white. And then the opacity, I'm going to set that to 40%. Okay, so that's the border there. Okay. And we probably want this to be rounded. Let's see. So yeah, this is rounded. So for rounded, I'm going to set something like, I don't know, I'll set, I think I'll set it to MD. Okay, so let's do rounded MD, like that. Seems to be smaller. Let's do XL, like that. So it's similar to this. Yep, so XL works perfect. Okay, so now we have the skeleton of the website. So now let's find some components that we want to use. Let's search for ShadCN. So the first component, we need to actually initialize ShadCN first before we do anything. So let's go installation, click on Next.js and click this ShadCN initialize. Stop the project from running. Okay, and we're going to paste in that command for initialization. Let's just set the default. Let's go zinc. Let's just do yes for CSS variables. Okay. All right. Perfect. So now we can add the components that we want. So the first component that we want is going to be a card component. And then if we are at the card, scroll down, copy this command, paste the command. Okay. And the other component that we want, it's going to be the button. So button, scroll down, copy the npm command and paste. Okay. So we have the components. Actually, we need one more component, the tabs. So because we want to be able to switch between tabs like this. So tabs, copy this command and we're going to paste down here. Okay. And there's also a package that we want. It's called QR code.react. This is the package that's going to allow us to generate QR codes. So we're going to copy this command and install. Okay. And we also need another package called HTML to image. HTML to image is going to allow us to save HTML to image. And finally, we need one more package called file saver. It's going to allow us to save files, file saver, and we're going to copy this package and paste. That's it. And now we just need to run dev. Okay, so let's see the card component. So for us to be able to use the card component, let's check out the code. We need to import this. properties here from the card component, import, and we're going to go to QR code generator, and we're going to import those, and we're going to, this is a client component. Oops, why is it in caps? Use client, like that. Okay, so we are going to need the card content. We don't need the card description, and we don't need the card footer. Okay, so but we need these 4 components. Okay, so in this case, we're going to change this to card. Okay, so this is the card component now, and we are going to put a card header inside. Card header, like that. Okay, so, and then we're going to do card title, and then we're going to name this QR code generator, like that. Okay, so we just need to style the card title, class name, and we're going to give it text 3 Excel, and we're going to give it a font bold, and we're going to do text center. Oops. Text center, not clip, the center. Okay, and we're going to give it a color. It's going to be a blue color, so it's going to be #03 and then 7FF, like that. Okay, let's save, and let's see if we have anything. We need to refresh this page. I will close the ShadCN page. So as you can see now, QR code generator. Perfect. That's the title. And now we need the card content. So the card content is going to fill in to get the rest of the space. So card content. Okay, we're going to set the flex to 1 to take the entire space that is remaining. Flex 1. Okay, so for the card content, we are going to have a div in here, and we're going to give it a height of full, and we're going to display flex column, and for mid screens, I'm going to set flex to row, and I'm going to set the gap to 8, like that. Okay, perfect. And then, so we're going to have 2 divs in here. So the first one, that's where the tabs are going to be. So div, I'll duplicate these divs. So the first div, I'll do a class name, and then we're going to do set flex to 1, and we're going to space y, we're going to set that to 6. Okay, so for this one, let's do class name, and we're going to set the position to relative, and flex 1, and we're going to set the BG to that blue color, and then I'm going to do rounded to large, so I want it to be rounded a bit, and then flex column, that's I want the flex to be in columns, and then we're going to justify center, and then space y 6. Okay, so what I'm doing is justifying center. I want the QR code to be centered on this side here, so that's why I'm doing justify center, and the background of that is this blue color here, and I'm centering the items, which is the QR code and these buttons here. Okay, so that's what's happening. Perfect. So let's start with doing the link, the tabs. Okay, so we want to change between link and email. Okay, so let's do this div here, the first one. Okay, so we need to import tabs. So let's see how we can use the tabs. ShadCN, probably I shouldn't close the ShadCN website. So components, and then for tabs, let's look at the code. Okay, so for the tabs, we need to import these. Okay, import that. And then we're going to paste here. So we have tabs tabs content, tab list, and the trigger. Okay. So we have cut content, and in here we have the tabs. Okay, tabs like that. And then we're going to sort out the list of the tabs. So let's start by styling these tabs. So here we are going to have default value. It's going to be link. Okay, so we have link and email. And then we need on change. We're going to sort that later. So class name, we're going to set that to space y6 like that. Okay. And then we have the list, tabs list, like so. And then we're going to, let's look at the documentation. Tabs list, content. Okay, so yeah, for the tab list, we're going to set class name. I'm just going to give it a height of 10. And then width, I'm going to set that to 4. And then grid columns, I'm going to set that to 2. Okay, and make sure it's a grid display, not flex, grid, like that. Okay, and the background, I'm just going to set that blue background, and I'm going to set the text to LG, so to large. All right, so that's for the tabs list, and we're going to put some tab trigger buttons in there. Tabs trigger, like so. Okay, so we can see what they look like in here. And just to class name, and here we're going to give it text white. We can just copy this to make it easier, these two triggers. Okay, so the value for these ones we're going to change. So we have link and email, link and then email, like so. And then we just need to change the text, link, email, and then actually email. So this should be just link, like that. And then we can do class name, and then text white, and then we need font to bold, like that. Okay, super. And we're going to use some icons. So we have the mail icon coming from Lucid React, like that. And then we're going to give it width. We're going to set that to 4. And we're going to give it margin right, MR. We're going to set that to something like 2. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing here, but it's going to be link coming from Lucid React, and do the same. Now let's save. Let's see what we have. So there it is. It looks reasonable. Okay. But it doesn't look to be fully styled. So height, we set that to 10, width 4. Width here, we set that to 4. Let's set the height to 4 as well. All right. Yeah, so now it looks better. So we can switch between these tabs. So that's for the tabs trigger. So now we need the actual content. Okay. So we need the content that's going to link to this link here, to the value of link. Okay. So after the tabs list, we're going to do the content, tabs, content, value. It's going to be link. Okay. So before we do this, let's actually create a state, because there's going to be state for these items here. Okay, so let's create the state first. We're not going to do any functionality, but we just need to create the state. Okay, and let's start with the URL, and then we're going to set URL to react.useState, and we're going to do the same thing for color, and on initial render, I'm going to set this color to white. Okay, so something like this. And then background color, const bg color. I am going to set that to that blue color we've been using, this one here. All right, so we have the bg color, and we need the logo. Not, my keyboard is frozen again. Logo and set logo. My keyboard is really buggy. Const logo file. Okay, so that's the file of the image file we're going to upload. Okay, so for the logo, I'm just going to put it as no, like that. And then we have, we need the QR code actually. So const QR type. So QR type, we're going to set that to link. Okay, on initial render, it's going to be link. And then we're going to do an email, const email, set email, subject, and then message. Okay, so this is the message body, which is this message body here. Okay, so now we have the state for this. Let's go down here now. Now we can go for the tabs. We can put the state. So here we're going to set, we need to set the default value to link. Okay, it should be on tabs actually. Cut this and put it on tabs. Oh, we've already set the default value. I didn't notice that. So we just need to set on value change. On value change, we're going to get the val, which is the value, and then we're going to return set QR type to the value. Okay, like that. So now we have the on change. Let's continue working on the content for the link. We're going to have a div in here. Let's give it a space y6, like that. All right. So we are going to have another div, class name, space y, we're going to set that to 2, like so. And then we're going to have a label. I'm just wondering if we should use ShadCN input. Okay, so let's use ShadCN actually. So let's install the label component, and we're going to copy the command. Let's stop the project from running. Label, and we also need the input. Where's the input? Okay, so we have the input, and we're going to copy the command. All right, so now we should have the input component, and then let's run the project again. Okay, let's refresh. Okay. Yeah, everything is good. Let's do a label now. So we just need to import the label component in here. So let's do label. It should be coming from components like that. All right. So for the label, we're just going to name this URL. Okay. And class name, we're going to set that to font, semi-bold, and we're going to set the text to the blue color. You can set that to whatever color you want. Okay. That's for the label. Let's set the HTML4. We're going to set that to URL like that. Okay. And we need the input. So we need to import the input from components. Let's close this input. We're going to set the ID to URL, and type is going to be text, and then value URL on change. We're going to set URL state to the on change, and then we're going to give it a class name. We're going to set the width to full, and border, we're going to set that to 2. Okay, and the border color, we're going to set that to white, and I'm going to set the opacity to 70%. Okay, and rounded, I'm going to set that to MD. So we have the border white and border 2 and rounded, I can't say the word, rounded, and then outline to none. And then I'm going to set the focus visible. It's called focus visible ring. Visible. I'm going to set ring. What should I set to 0? So ring 0. And then I'm going to change the placeholder color. Okay. So placeholder. And then I'm going to set the text to gray 400. You can set it to whatever color you want. And let's save. Okay, so it's there, but it seems like there's an issue here. Let's open up the input. So control click this input, and we're going to get rid of, we need to get rid of this focus visible outline and the ring offset, get rid of those and save. So that border effect should be gone, and we can set our own style. So hover and border, we can set that to any color that we want. Okay, not hover, it's actually focus. Okay, like that. So we want to set to this color here. I'm just gonna copy this color, border, and paste in that color. We can reduce the opacity to maybe 70% if you want. All right, so that's that. So that's the URL, and the next is going to be the color of the QR code and the background color and the logo. Okay, so how do we do that? So let's collapse. So we have this space y2. Let's collapse that. Space y2, collapse. Okay. So we have URL. Let's do another div after the tabs. So after tabs, let's do a div here. So this div is going to house, this, okay? And let's give it a class name. So the class name, I'm gonna set that to space. Space Y, I'm gonna set that to 4. All right. And we're also going to have two divs in here. So we have the first div, which is going to be the color. Okay, and we're going to display flex on this one. Flex. And we're going to set space X to 4. Make sure you close this properly. All right. So we are also going to have another div. And we're going to use a label in here. And we're going to name this QR code color. All right. And we are going to, so we have class name. Let's do a class name on here. And we're going to give it some styles. Space Y, we're going to set that to 2. Flex 1, like that. Okay. So save. And then for the label, we need the styles for the label as well. So we're going to repeat the styles we've done before. Okay. HTML4 color. And then we're going to have a div for the input. So div, it's going to be flex. And then item center gap, we're going to set that to 1. And we're going to go down in here. We're going to have another div. We're going to do class name relative for position relative, and then width, we're going to set that to 12. Width 12, flex, we're going to set that to 1. And then height, we're going to set that to 12. Rounded, MD. Border, we're going to set that to 2. Okay, and for the border color, we're going to set border white with an opacity of 70%, like that. Okay, and we're going to set the style to the background color state. Style, we're going to set the background color to color coming from the state. Okay, and then we're going to do an input. So the type is going to be color. So type is going to be color, and then on change, we're going to set the color, and then we're going to use the position absolute, left 0, width 4, height 4, and the opacity we're going to set to 0, and the cursor is set to pointer. Let's save. So there it is. We don't see anything yet because we have not finished doing the styles. Okay. So after this input, we are going to have an input. Okay. So we have an input. This is self-closing, by the way. Input. And we're going to set the types to text. Type to text. Oops. Type to text. And we're going to set the value to color. And then on change, we're going to set the color. And then we're going to set the class name. So the class name is going to be flex 1. And we're going to set the height and border. Okay, so like that. Okay, save. And yeah, so that's the name of the color. But this one is still not working. I just realized the height is set to 1.5. I meant to put 12 here. And also I'm supposed to put 12 here as well. So let's set the height to 12. Not 1.5, but 12. So let's save. And as you can see now, it looks pretty good. And the next step is to add this background color here. So that's what we want to do. So let's scroll up and let's collapse this. Collapse. And we're going to create like a div similar to this. Okay. And this is going to be where the background color is going to be. So we're going to repeat the same thing. I'm actually going to duplicate this. Duplicate. And this is going to be background color. Background color. And we're going to change this to BG color. and also change this to BG color. Okay, set BG color like that, and set BG color, and let's save. Okay, as you can see now, as you can see, the background color is there and it's changing. All right, so we have the background color. Now we need to sort out. The logo. Okay, so I'm going to collapse space Y 4. Actually, let's collapse the space Y X for this one. Okay, and we're going to have a div here, and let's give it a class name and space Y2 like that. And we're going to have a label also. And we're just going to name this logo like this. And we're going to do HTML4 and logo, that's the name. And we're going to give it a class name with the same font color and set the text to bold. And here we're going to do an input. Okay, and the type is going to be file, and ID is going to be logo. And I'm going to close this input. So I'm going to get rid of the onChange here. We're going to get rid of that. So type is file, ID set to logo. We're going to accept images. Okay, save. So as you can see now, no file chosen. We can select an image like so. Perfect. So what we're going to do is do the onChange. So here we're going to check if e.target if we have a file, dot files, and e.target dot files dot length is greater than 0. Let me get rid of this. If it's not greater than 0, e.files.target e.target.files, we're going to select the first file. Okay, and then we're going to set logo file, and then we're going to set to e.target.files to that first item, which is the image. Okay, and we need to read the file. Const reader equal to new file reader like that. Okay, and we are going to do reader dot onload end like that, and then we're going to do a callback function here, and then we're going to set logo. We're going to set logo to reader dot result like that, dot result, and then we're just going to do a string. It's not assignable to type. Set state action. Okay, so let's see set logo. Okay, let's do a string, and let's go for the set logo. So here we're just going to set this to string or no. String. My keyboard is a bit weird. String or no, like that. Okay, so the warning should disappear now. So now we don't have that warning anymore. And then we're going to do reader. We're going to do dot read as data URL like that. And then we're going to set e.target.files. We're going to set that to the first file. Okay. E.target is possibly no. That's okay. Now let's save. Let's see. Can we pick an image? Okay, logo. Yep, we picked an image, so we want to be able to display that image. Okay, so class I'm just going to get rid of, I will leave PG transparent and width full. Okay, yeah. So that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. Perfect. The target is possibly no. Okay, I'll get rid of type checking here for this event. Okay, and we should be able to have, so we're actually done for this side. Okay, now we need to do this this side here. So this is going to repeat, this bit here is going to be repeated. So we're going to copy and paste this bit. Okay, so what we can do, we can, so we have logo, we can copy and paste this bit. Okay, so we can, it's because it's repeated, so we don't need to redo that again. All right, so in the card content, so we have this div here with a background color. Let's do the QR code first before we do the email side. Okay, so for this one, we're going to, let's create a span. Okay, and we're going to use layout grid. Okay, so it's coming from Lucid React, and let's give it 8 and 8, and we're just gonna set text to white like that. So there is the layout grid, but we need to position absolute this. Okay, layout grid, let's do absolute, and we're going to say top to 4, right to 4, not ring, right to 4. Okay, and there it is. It's looking good. Perfect. Now we need to do the QR code. We're going to use the package that we've installed. So let's do a div here, and we're going to give it an ID, class name. Let's start with the class name first. Let's do flex, justify, center, and let's do an ID. Let's name it QR code. You can name this whatever you want. And then we're going to have a div with a class name of relative. Okay, and now we need to import the QR code SVG. So QR code SVG from the QR code.react, like that. Okay, import that, and let's close. So now the value is going to be the URL value. It's going to be URL like that, and then we're going to have the size. We're going to set that to 256. 256 like that, and we're going to have the foreground color, which is going to be the color, and then the BG color that we've set. Okay, and we're going to do image settings like that, and then it's going to take an object. I'm going to check if we have the logo. If we have the logo, it's actually like this logo. If we have the logo like this, okay, and then we're going to render an object, and we're going to set the source src to logo like that, and then we're going to set the height to 50, and we're going to set width to 50. Okay, like that, and then otherwise we can set this to undefined. Okay, that's it for the QR SVG. So we should see an SVG. There it is. Okay, so now we can change the background. As you can see now, the BG is changing, and we can also change the color. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So we want to be able to display an image here, centered here. So how do we do that? We are going to check if we have displayed a logo. So after this QR code rendering, we're going to check if logo is uploaded like this. If it is uploaded, we're going to render something here. And then we're going to render an image like that. And then the source is going to be the actual logo. And then the O tag is going to be the logo. And then class is going to be class name. It's not going to be hidden, but I'm going to absolute position this. Absolute, because I want it to be centered, centered on the QR code, okay? And then top, I'm going to set that to 50%, left 50%, and then we're going to transform this, transform, and then translate x half. Okay, it's actually minus 50% instead of 50%. So because we want to center this, we want to do the same thing for y, translate y half like this. So it's going to be centered. So let's try to upload something here. Okay, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Oops, I just realized in here, this is meant to be outside this function here. All right, so now let's save. Let's refresh this. And let's try to pick an image. And let's put this logo. As you can see now, it's there nicely centered on the QR code. All right. So that looks good. So now let's work on the emails. So let's actually try to put a URL here. So copy this URL and put the URL. As you can see, the QR code is changing accordingly, depending on what you put, okay? So nice, the QR code is changing. So we need to do the same thing for the email. So we need to construct the email component, okay? So let's go to tabs. So we have this tab. What is the name of the tab? This one is link. Okay, so default is link, cut content. So tabs content link, I'm going to collapse the link, and we're going to have tabs content value. It's going to be an email. So this one is going to be email. Okay, we've done the stuff for the link already. So now we need to work on the email. Okay, so for the email, let's do div. So we're going to do the space y again. It's going to copy the same thing we've done. Let's do this as space y to 4. Okay, and we're going to have another div. And this one is going to have space y to 2. Oops, class name space y, we're going to set that to 2, like that. Okay, and let's start with the label. And we're going to display an email. And the text, my keyboard is broken again. My keyboard keeps breaking. All right, and here we're just going to name it email, and it's going to be a label for the email. And then we need to do an input, and the placeholder, we're just going to say enter email, like that. Okay, and we're just going to put on change and set email for the state that we created, and we're going to create a class name, and let's close this input. So we should be able to see an email input here. There it is, email input. So now we have set the BG transparent. We've done this already on the URL input. So that's why it's remembering the styles. So that the same exact styles here. Okay. So we have the email. Now we need to do the other things as well. Let's do div. space y, it's going to be 2 for this one, space y2, and we're going to generate a label. So label, subject, and font. So it's repeating the stuff, same styles we've been doing over and over again, and then set subject for the on change. Okay, and the width set to 100%, same styles for the other inputs. So that's the subject. And now we need to do this enter message. So we need to do the same thing again. Okay, and label message. And for the message, we're going to use the text area rather than the input. Space y, we're going to set that to 2. Okay, so same thing, but this is just a text area, but we're doing the same thing. But instead, let's import a text area from ShadCN. Text area. Let's install the text area. Okay, so ShadCN and npm cut and install text area. And let's run the project again. And let's import this text area component. Perfect. So we've imported the text area component. It's using the same styles, okay? Same border and everything. Okay, and we're not going to resize this. We're just going to set resize to none. But the height, I'm just going to leave it at 24. Actually, it's twice the size. Okay, like that. So we probably need to give it a bit of a padding because it doesn't have padding at the moment. Let's refresh this. So as you can see, there's no padding. Cancel. Actually, now there's a padding because it applied the styles coming from ShadCN because it was using a regular text area, but now it's using this styled text area coming from ShadCN. Okay, perfect. So now we probably need a button here that's going to generate. So here it says generate QR code. Okay, so we need to use the button component. So after this, let's do a button component like that. And then we're going to say generate QR code like that. And we're going to do a class name and we're going to set a py to 7. That's padding top and bottom, and px to 8 like that. And then for the background color, we're just going to use the same color, this one here. Oops, doesn't allow me to copy like that. So that's going to be the BG like that. And we're going to set the font to bold, and we're going to uppercase the text and set rounded to 4. Okay, so there is generate QR code like that. Generate email. Let's say generate email QR code to make it longer. Okay, so yeah, it looks all right. It looks better. So now we just need to add those buttons to download in here, and we need to create some functions as well to make the downloads possible. Okay, so for the download, let's go down here. So we have the input, the logo. Okay, so let's do it down here. So div, let's give it a class name, and we're going to do flex and justify center, and then space x. We're going to set that to 4. Okay, and we're going to render some buttons here. So button, so make sure you import button from ShadCN, and then we're going to use a download icon coming from Lucid React like that. and we're going to give it width and height of 4 and margin right to 2. And then we're going to say download PNG, download PNG, like that. And we're going to style this. We're using a variant of outline. Variant, let's do outline. Outline, that's the name of the variant of the button. So there is our button here, download PNG. Okay. And we probably want to do an on click here. On click. So when I click, I want to download. So we are going to create a function called handle download. Download. We're going to download a PNG. Okay, like that. So that's the function that is going to allow us to download, but we don't have this function yet. And we need to do the same thing down here for the SVG, like that, and then save. Okay, so there's a SVG download, and then there's a PNG download. Okay, perfect. It seems like we are using a different font from the original one. We're going to do that later as well. So let's construct this handle download function that's going to allow us to download a PNG. Let's do const handle download is going to take a type of download. So it's going to be a PNG or an SVG. That's going to be the type of downloads that we're going to do. Okay, and here we're going to do const QR code element lm, like this, document dot get element by ID. We're going to target the QR code ID that we've given to the QR code parent. Okay, so we are going to check if we do have this element. If QR code element, okay, and we're going to check. This should be if, not finally. If we have this element, we're going to check if the type is PNG. So if we're going to do type equal to PNG, like that. So if it's the PNG type, we're going to say to PNG, like this, to PNG. It's actually not to PNG directly, but like this, to PNG, like that. And we need to import that to PNG from HTML to image, like this. Okay, so make sure you import that to PNG. And then here inside, we're going to pass in the QR code element, and then we're going to do a dot then, data URL, and then we're going to save as, like that, inside in here. So this is a function, so save as, and then we're going to pass in the data URL, and the name is going to be QR code PNG. Okay, like so. So let's save this. So cannot find name, save as. That's weird. Save as should be coming from import, save as from file saver. That's where it should be coming from. But I think this error, it has to do with types. Cannot find module file saver. We actually need to install this module. I don't think we have installed that. npmi file saver. All right, and let's run dev. I think it has to do with types then, if the error is not going away. Okay, file saver is oh, this is it should be outside. I didn't even realize that I'm inside the function. Okay, but now we need to install the types. So copy this command and install the types. Okay, install the types, and we're going to run dev again. So now we've installed the types, and then save as. We put the URL and the name of that QR code that we want to generate. And we need to also catch the errors if we have any errors, and then we can console log those errors here. COG error generating QR code. This is in the wrong, we need to put in here and save. Now let's do the SVG, and then let's check else if. We're going to check else if the type is equal to SVG. We're going to write here SVG like this. Okay, we're just going to check if we have an SVG, and then we're going to say const SVG lm for element like this, and then we're going to do code element dot query selector, not dot query selector, and then we're targeting the SVG like this, and then I want to check if we have the SVG element, SVG lm. In here, we're gonna do const save that data like this. We're going to create a blob like this, and then we're going to put an array, and then we're going to do SVG element here, and then we're going to do dot outer HTML, and then we're going to put a comma and do an object, and then the type we're going to set that to image slash SVG, and character set to UTF-8, and then we're going to do save as save data QR code.svg like that. Okay, so now let's save. So now we should be able to download these items here. So let me refresh. Download SVG. Yep. Download PNG. Yep, that works. Let's open up the SVG. So this is the SVG code. We cannot do anything with this, but let's open up the PNG. Open up the PNG. As you can see, it's downloaded, but it seems like it's cutting off. Let me try to change the background color and download PNG and open up. Yeah, it seems to be cutting off. So we need to fix that. But first off, let's do the email. So when I click generate, I want to be able to generate this QR code based on the email and the subject and the message. So let's create a function for that. Const, we're going to say handle. What are we going to handle? We're going to handle the email input. It's going to be a function here. So we're going to generate a mail to. So when I click, I want to mail to a user. When I scan the QR code, mail to link. You can name this like this, mail to link. And then we're going to do a template literal, mail to. And then we're going to put the email subject, and then the body is going to be the message. For this body, I'm actually going to cut this message. We're going to do encode your URL component, URI component, and then we're going to put in that message. And then we're going to set URL to mail to link like that. And then we need to plug that on the button, generate down near the bottom here. Let's look for the button, generate. So yeah, this button here. So on click, we're going to handle email input. Okay, so now let's try to put a text, test mail, hello. Here, I just put something random, and then I'll do generate. Okay, as you can see, generated the QR code. Now let's upload the logo. You can upload the logo, and as you can see, the logo is there, it's placed. Okay, we can change the background like that. All right, it seems like, okay, I mean, it's working as we want, but for some reason there's a border here on the logo. I cannot be asked to find the logo. It should be down, logo, image. So down here, so there's no border here on the image, but for some reason it's showing a border. I'm just gonna set the border to none here, and it is still showing a border, which is weird. So let's choose again the image. Okay, so there's no border. Let's put a URL. Okay, so the border has to do with the QR code itself, so there's no border on the image. Okay, so that looks fine. So let's test the download again for PNG. Let's open up. Okay, so we need to fix this cutting here at the bottom. So let's fix that. We just need to look for the parent container of this SVG, and then we need to give it a bit of a padding. So let's do that. So the parent is QR code. This is the parent. So let's give it a padding. Let's just set the P to 8. So let's try to generate something. Okay, let's put a logo, and let's set the background to black perhaps. And let's download this PNG. Download, open up. As you can see now, it's no longer cutting down here, and it's showing nicely. Perfect. And we can scan this QR code, scan using your phone and test if it's working. It's working for me. I can scan this QR code and it's leading to this link here. So yeah, that's it for this project. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you want to request a project for future video, just let me know in the comment section as well. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.